What's up, everybody? This is the Garden Groove Podcast, and this week we're joined by my friend Jon Worthy. Jon, how's it going?
Good, guys. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
Thanks for coming in. You are in the middle of a lot. I feel like you've been playing a lot of shows, and you're dropping your 12th, or just dropped your 12th single from your upcoming album, and it's the album's called I'm So Tired of Trying, right? So
The album's called, that would be a fitting title, but Barely Here.
Barely Here. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know why I think I read in your
That's
post
the most recent song.
Yeah. I thought I read that was the title track or something, but I think I misread it. But cool. So, in that you were telling me there's going to be a deluxe edition of it as well, and then that's 17 songs or something like that. Or?
Yes, I'm doing my first vinyl, which is a brand new process for me. I didn't realize all the restraints on it. You can only do so many minutes. I think it was 38, or else I had to do a double disc album, which is doubles the price, obviously. So I had to cut 6 songs. So the vinyl will be 11, and then the digital version will be 17.
Yeah. So was that a strategy, dropping 12 singles? Is that going to be that's going to be the final single?
Yeah. And then the album will come out August 29th.
Oh, cool. So pretty soon. Yeah. It's almost a month.
Yeah, but the whole single thing, unless you have a huge following, releasing singles just gives you something to post about.
Yeah.
Gives you something to keep active on social media with.
Yeah.
For your small fan base that you do have as an independent artist, it just gives them new songs to be excited about, rather than dropping your whole album in one go, and then it takes you a whole year or two to come back with new music. I just figure it makes more sense for a small artist to just keep releasing music and try and build some momentum that way.
Yeah, for sure. And have you been finding is this your first time trying that as a strategy, or were you doing
I've always done singles, but 12 is a pretty insane amount of singles.
Yeah, that's a lot of singles.
It's kind of almost ridiculous, but I figured I might as well there's no point.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
3 or 4, maybe 5 if you're feeling adventurous is typical. But
for sure. But I wouldn't say I've noticed a huge difference in momentum necessarily. It's just all about how you market yourself on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff, and then you just have to be smart with your strategy.
Yeah.
What was your strategy? So me and Jackson are both trying to release our own stuff too.
Yeah.
In mine, I keep hearing 6 weeks is kind of the golden rule for how frequently you should be releasing music. Mm-hmm. Do you kind of think about it that way? And
I try and do
in those terms
6 weeks or even every month sometimes.
Yeah.
Do a song. The last 3 months, I think I've been a song a month.
Yeah.
But then I think there was a couple months in between where I probably was every 2 months of these 12 songs. So
okay, but
pretty close to a 6 week average, I'd say.
Gotcha.
And do you have them all in bulk, just ready to waterfall out?
Yeah. So I already have my 5th album. I have 11 songs done on my 5th album, which will be out.
And they're just ready to go.
They're ready to go.
Oh gosh. Because I'm last second. I wait till the last moment.
I'm a very much. Once I finish something, I don't really go back and tinker around with it. I like to call it done.
Yeah.
Usually my first idea is my best idea. So with my melodies and stuff, it's just I'm pretty quick at songwriting. So that's how I'm able to release so much music. And then I just love the next song. I don't like to go back and
I get that.
Listen to my old stuff. It's always my new stuff.
Yeah, you'll go crazy if you keep going back.
Yeah.
The bass is always louder the more you go back.
There's some little elf to make. So
there's some little elf changing the EQ very subtly. You just don't quite know about.
That's a good philosophy to sort of just get it done and then move on to the next instead of. I think it makes things a little bit less precious too.
I think the most important thing is if it's a good song, people are going to recognize that. They're not going to. 95% of people aren't going to recognize the EQ on the drums or stuff like that. It's all about the song, the lyric, the melody that resonates with people. How it necessarily sounds to a mixing engineer doesn't really matter for the most part, because those aren't the people that are going to be listening to my music probably anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
And are you doing a lot of the producing on it? Because you are a producer.
Yeah, I'd say half this album, about halfway through making this, is when I started like getting really into it, and I was just like, I'm not paying anyone to do my music anymore.
Great.
So I do all my own stuff now, but the first like 6 songs I did work with someone who was awesome. You guys ever heard of the band Arlie?
I think I've heard the name.
Decently big local band. Like they've had played some really cool festivals, a lot of radio play. But he was the original drummer in that band. He's no longer in it, but he's incredible multi-instrumentalist and producer. So I worked with him, and I tracked with a live band. Like I had a pretty tight group of guys that I would tour with that played drums, bass, and lead guitar for me. So that was really fun getting the track live with that. And then the other half of the songs are ones that I just pretty much did all on my own.
Yeah. Are you tracking drums at your house?
I usually just program them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, dude. So cool.
But a couple songs on the next album, I actually did bring a friend in, and we tracked drums at my house. So that'll be a different sound on a couple of them.
Yeah. So, and your style of music, that's cool to hear. Like, because I've listened to your stuff, and I've thought that a lot of the drums were really natural sounding and tasteful. You know, what sounds like, what type of samples and things like that are you reaching for?
I use a lot of if it's like a rock song, I'll use Superior Drummer. Have you guys ever heard of that?
I have, yeah.
So I can like really get a basic groove and then kind of alter it based on how I need it. And then if it's more of like a pop song, I'll just literally draw in like every kick drum and snare, because it's not as complicated for that type of music.
Yeah, you don't need to have like the ghost notes and things like that. Yeah.
When you're sending the example drum sounds to the live drummer that you're gonna have, do you use sample sounds just to give him an idea, or do you send him a song?
With the two, well, we already did them for the next album.
Yeah.
I think I just had like programmed drums in there and said I want it
to sound
like that, but to be a real drummer.
Yeah.
And that it made sense because I had done those when I was just starting and they weren't very good.
Yeah,
like they were pretty bad drum sounds. So
yeah, I mean it's pretty straightforward. Just kick snare, kick snare.
It's a tricky thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you mind pulling the mic down a little bit? I just don't want it to block your face in the camera's view.
Is that good?
Which you can kind of see. Yeah, that's probably fine. Cool. I just don't want to make clips and just have it be the mic instead of your face. But yeah, dude, sample sounds are really taking over in a lot of ways. And it's pretty freaking good as a drummer and as being the person that's going to be replaced by the sample sounds. They sound pretty good.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I know
with Superior Drummer, it's real drummers playing these grooves, and then
really,
so I mean they are pretty cool sounds, and then you can just alternate them to fit your song.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But it's a real drummer that they recorded in a studio.
Yeah, and
so it's not like you're just getting some splice kick drum and
Is that like AI, like how they take the performance and I guess that wouldn't be AI, but is that an algorithm of some sort where
that could be AI,
they're taking a performance and because you can, I assume, change like, okay, I don't like that snare drum, but I like the way he played it, so I'm going to change the snare.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how that would work.
Well, it's just MIDI. So you get a MIDI sample.
That's so cool.
But yeah, they're just recording the drums into, with all these mics, and then they get it into a MIDI format so that you can alter it.
Yeah. Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, it's a side tangent, but okay. So I was just at the Music City drum show.
Yeah.
Literally an hour ago, and they're DW Drums. It's a drum company, and they're trying to really kind of innovate on electronic drums. Mm-hmm. And so they have a new thing that's just out. If you have $12,000 to spare,
just laying around,
cheap plugin.
Yeah, cheap. Yeah, really cheap plugin.
Hey, if they want to send us a free kit, we could certainly do some good
videos. We'll do multiple videos on it. We'll do a series about it.
I would sell my kidney. But so it's sample drums to an extent, but so you're recording electronic drums, and after everything's recorded, you can separate each thing. So you can have a snare stem, just a ride cymbal stem, a crash stem, a kick stem, and all that. And then you send it out to the producer, and they're like, oh, the snare is actually too high pitched. Like, oh, no problem. I'll just tune it down on the spot.
Yeah.
Right now.
That's crazy.
Craziness. Cool. And then you can EQ it on the drum's brain. So the drum kit has its own little DAW where you can EQ and you can compress and you can add saturation and everything.
Yeah.
So the drum kit is kind of a DAW in and of itself. And then you can export the things like that.
Yeah. That's exactly what Superior Drummer is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can add saturation, compression.
Yeah, just tune
like
it
and
out.
then you can delete like the crash notes or the cymbal notes, and then create your own MIDI line just for snare, just for kick, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So it gives you a lot of freedom of how you want it to sound.
Have you messed with other ones?
No, that's the only one for like actual drum grooves and sounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never.
That's super cool.
Have you ever played with stuff like that?
I know about Superior Drummer, and I know about Get Good Drums as well. I think they're mostly just samples though. I don't know if they have like any type of integrated
actual
like
live
software, but
cool.
I've always been. The reason I asked is because I've always been I like having those like programmed drums for demos and stuff, and then when it starts getting towards the more final versions, I'm like, oh, I need to get somebody to play on this, or I need to try to like lay down a placeholder, like beat myself. And but I'm just hearing so many songs where you can kind of tell if you like from an audio engineering perspective, if you listen, you can tell it's a programmed drum sound, but it's really good.
Yeah.
Like there's so many really good programmed live drum sounds.
Right.
So that's definitely something that it would speed up my workflow if I could like let that go, you know, just
that song you played me a month ago that you played drums on sounded pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
You got some good drum sounds out there.
I got some pretty decent drum sounds at my house. I played you one of my new songs.
I think I asked you, did you have a friend play drums?
Yeah,
like,
you
no,
did. I was like, actually, I played those myself. Yeah, I can play my own drums if the tempo isn't too fast. And it's not too, or like sometimes I'll outright myself. So I'll be like, this is what the drums need to do, but I cannot execute it myself at all. And then I either have to draw it in a DAW, you know, like as a programmed drum part and get really tedious, or then I have to call up a friend like Taylor and be like, hey,
the snare's not poofing enough.
Can you play this?
Yeah.
But that's cool. So as far as production goes, I didn't realize that you did production like for other people outside of your own stuff. Have you always kind of done that alongside playing, or?
No, I mean, I didn't even. So when I moved to Nashville, my thought on what music was you get in a band, you get in a studio, and you record music. Like I didn't know mixing engineers existed. I didn't know producers existed.
1,000,000%.
I literally just thought bands go into studios, they record. That's what it is.
And like, it just sounds good.
That's what you hear.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how I did all my music. I've been in a bunch of bands here. We would always go into the studio. We all had our own parts, and we would record the song and maybe do a little bit of overdubbing. But that was like, it was live tracking.
Yeah.
That's how we made our EPs, our albums. And then when my girlfriend that I started dating in 2019, she's like a sync queen. She has all these sync placements, and she's been doing her own vocals where producers send her tracks, she top lines, and she'd been doing that for years. So COVID hits, and I'm like, I had all these shows booked. Of course, they get canceled. I lost my job that I had at the time, and I had all this time. And she's like, you should really maybe dive into production. And I was very resistant for some reason, because I still think I had this mindset that you go into a studio with a band and you record your own music.
Yeah.
But I eventually dove in. Got Ableton, and then that's like pretty much become how I make all my money now, is just recording music for people and some TV stuff too. So
is it for friends, or do people find you on like Fiverr and all that stuff?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of work, kind of like what Jackson was talking about, just people finding your music and reaching out. I've gotten a lot of work like that. I work with these different companies that place songs in TV shows. So I get a lot of top lining vocal gigs for that. I get a lot of production work doing that too.
Yeah, you've been put up on like Netflix and all
Hulu,
sorts of other spots.
All kinds of stuff. So those are really cool. Then those are usually like pop songs, and Not my typical style, but it's nice to be able to do that, and it pays. So
yeah, you played me a cool one that you were just showing me an example last time we hung out. That it was, I think the description was like chill country, some slide guitar, and it was so cool. It was
so that was for Farmhouse Fixer on HGTV.
Okay.
So they wanted like I don't know, I don't keep track of like any of their shows. I just see them on my royalty statement every 3 months.
Just see the money coming in.
But they wanted kind of a folky style song, and I ended up doing something kind of Lumineers-ish.
Yeah,
because that just fits my voice. So those were fun. And then I've been doing I've been getting a lot of top lining gigs for that company for UFC. I forget what the show is called, Undefeated or something, but it's like a reality show for UFC where guys are trying to get into UFC, and they needed like these Rage Against the Machine songs, and I have a pretty raspy voice, so
I was about to say
we did like these amped up rock songs. It was cool.
That's awesome. So you're in there writing riffs and like.
No, that was just vocals.
Oh, that was all
a producer
vocals.
would send me a track, and then I just write up the lyrics and melodies.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. How do you upload those songs to a site, and that's how they get?
No, so they have a music director, a music director that picks who all the artists are that are going to do each project. He sends a brief, and then like small tidbits of what the lyrics should be about, and reference songs. So then we work together, the producer and the vocalist, and then you send the track to them, you get approved or ask for notes, and then they have a library, or they send it directly to the show, like, hey, here's what we came up with.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So you said your girlfriend she was already kind of in the sync world.
Yeah.
Was that when you started to step into that? I assume she was kind of like your coach on how that stuff worked. Like, how did she find herself in there in that world?
Yeah, her story's cool. She just released maybe 10 years ago, did a little YouTube cover upload, and a high school friend who is part of the family that owns this company in LA that does all the syncs passed it on to like the top guy. He's like, hey, this is my friend Kiki. She has an amazing voice.
Wow.
And then he reached out and was like, hey, would you want to ever write music for TV? You have a beautiful voice. And then the rest is history. Like, she's been working with them for a long time.
Wow.
That's like so how you would want it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting discovered.
I think she's over like 500 syncs now.
Wow.
So she just has a perfect voice for it. Like, amazing pitch and really pretty voice.
Do you think, is Nashville a good place for that? Because I've heard some people trying to get into that scene here, and I'm sure you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
But I've heard some people moving to LA for that reason.
I would say probably LA more so.
Yeah.
Just because it's more pop based, but
yeah,
I think a lot of country music needs it, like country shows and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I feel like everything's kind of getting pushed to remote, anyways. Like remote recording, like you were saying, you do remote drum work. So it doesn't really matter where you work, because a lot of bands can't even afford to like pay and rent out a studio for a week anymore. So
it's expensive.
They got to find ways to work around that.
Right.
You're looking at easily $5,000 to $10,000 at most places to rent it out for the week.
Right.
I mean, when I moved back here from Denver, I didn't really lose any clientele. All the people that were coming to me in Denver, it almost made it easier for them to send stuff to me because they knew that I was like taking it seriously and moving to Nashville for that purpose. So it is cool how much more remote things can be, where definitely I think you can't really knock the aspect of just being in a place where everybody's doing the same thing, or people have a lot of the same goals, but it is kind of cool that it's becoming less and less like that, because I feel like that is a big goal for a lot of people, is they want to get big enough doing what they're doing to not have to live in any particular city, where they could kind of go, I'm going to put my studio in the middle of the woods in Connecticut, and I'm big enough that people will still come play with me or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's kind of cool to see it shifting that direction. And when you started doing the sync stuff, did you immediately kind of link up with the people that your girlfriend was working with, or did you have other people that you knew that already that were kind of doing it in town? Or
no, it was pretty much she just kind of gave me the introduction. I did have one random song that got used by the real estate company Seville's. They're huge in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably know.
Yeah. I know about them.
So they did like a year-end song for COVID, and they used one of my songs, and that was like my first legit one where they actually paid me for it.
Yeah.
And then a year later, I guess, after like actually doing production stuff, my girlfriend introduced me to them,
Nice.
and then been working with them for a while now.
That's awesome.
I feel like just having to work that muscle of producing, and even producing with kind of like a vision in mind, like you're seeing the target dog in your mind while you're writing the song.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like working the muscle of producing and songwriting is only going to improve, obviously, like all of that, but even for your own solo stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed it. I add a lot of effects now to my music that I never would have imagined was in my songs, like swells and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, definitely just, and then it just gives me the ability to make my own music. Like I never would have been able to do that. And I just am able to sustain a independent career for the time being without having to go find some other job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coffee shop or
Cuts a
something.
good cost out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the dream. Hey, everybody. We're interrupting the podcast because we want to show you kind of what's really going on here at Garden Groove. This is a place where people can come in, record podcasts like we're doing now, but we can also record full bands in here. We've also had some people record just drum content or just drum tracks. So there's all sorts of options here, and that's kind of where Jackson comes in.
How's it going?
Project, and then we have a show this Thursday at the Basement, but I'm just going to Alaska just to go to Alaska.
Oh, that's right. I couldn't remember which was which.
Yeah.
The Alaska's coming up, but yeah, you were just playing shows in California.
Yeah, we had some good shows in California. That's where she grew up, so we have pretty good
connects
and little fan base there, so that was fun. And then we're playing the OG Basement on Thursday, which will be fun.
Hell yeah. Dude, the
I will
OG
be there.
Basement's super fun.
Yeah.
I'm free Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should come. I think we're playing first too. So
You're
Yeah.
playing first? Okay.
Yeah.
Winter doors.
I think music starts at 9.
So tell that to the camera.
Music starts at 9 this Thursday at the Basement.
July 25th.
Yes, July 25th.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so y'all, how many shows did y'all play when y'all were out there?
We played 3 shows, and so the one, our favorite one, we've done it for 3 years now, is Kiki's parents have this awesome house. It's called Encinitas. It's like 45 minutes outside of San Diego. Mm-hmm. And their backyard is full of all this vegetation, but they have this lower area. It's kind of like a tiny little mini amphitheater. And her dad is one of our biggest fans. And so he rents like 60 chairs, and awesome. Then so 60 people sit down there, and then there's this upper level where another like 50 people stand, and so he packs out the house.
That's awesome.
Like 100 people for a little house show, you know.
That's great.
And last year he hired a videographer that filmed our whole show, which was sick. And it's like a really fun show. Like it's very intimate, and everyone is totally silent and listening the whole time.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Is what you want.
The basement might not be completely
right.
that.
There's always gonna be drunk people talking.
It's usually the case.
Have y'all ever, with KJ Wild, have y'all ever done anything with a band?
Yeah. That's what we try to do. It's just we've kind of gotten away with that just because we haven't done it in like 6 months. So it was hard to just throw together a band last minute for this one. Coming up at the basement. But yeah, we usually have just done a 4-piece with me on guitar, Kiki singing, bass and drums.
Nice.
Dope.
And how long into y'all's relationship did y'all decide to make a project together?
Yeah.
Was it quick or was it?
No, it was COVID. Like,
COVID?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to spend all this time together or not. Because I was like sneaking off to play guitar a little bit, you know.
Right.
So we gave it a shot. And it's funny, the very first song we ever wrote together, I think was April of 2020, and it was called Steady. And we just released that one 2 weeks ago.
Oh, awesome.
And we did a music video out in LA. And it's just about like that person in your life that holds you steady and keeps you constant and, you know, keeps you from getting too crazy, and written during a pandemic, obviously. So
yeah.
That's great.
That's so cool.
When it comes to social media, how do you approach it? Because I'm still trying to figure out that formula for myself and for Garden Groove.
Yeah.
But I'm slowly been starting to think like it's pretty, I guess, easier and more quality if you put more of your time into really long form content. I said this on the last podcast. But you put more time and attention into long form content, then you just cut that up. Because I know you got some good music videos out there. Was kind of what was the intent by leaning into music videos?
I guess that's just what I grew up with, loving music videos. And
yeah, me too.
Especially in college, I would just stay up all night, like watching my favorite bands and all their interviews and all their music videos. And I don't think I regret making all those music videos because it was really fun. I had a good paying job at the time that funded all that.
Sure.
But I don't think that's how people take in like a small artist. You have to have people that are demanding that type of art from you. So it was, I guess a little bit of a waste of resources to spend all that money making all those videos. But they're really cool, and I'm
totally
proud of them.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you think that there is some value in that though, in attaching an aesthetic to your art?
Yeah, I definitely think it gave me like some momentum when I was really playing a lot of shows. And, and I was constant. I think I released like 10 music videos in 2 years, which is a lot for an independent artist, you know?
That's a whole lot.
That's cranking.
So almost like every other single I was doing, I was trying to do a music video along with it.
Yeah.
I like what you're saying though, and like it's just attaching. It's for your brand.
Yeah.
Like you're actually giving, as you say, a visual element to your music.
Yeah.
As opposed to just hearing it.
Right.
Not that that's not enough, but like, that's a new sense.
Yeah, it's something I was thinking about with stuff that I've been working on, where I kind of want to do a lot of music videos, not because I think that I'm gonna blow up off music videos, but just because you never know, and also just like I think it's just another like outcropping of the song in terms of the presentation of it, and kind of like elevating the art with a visual element that's like instilling maybe the feeling that you want people to feel when they hear the song.
Right.
This is the mood board of the song.
Yeah, that's marketing, baby.
Yeah.
Like you want to attach an emotion to a certain kind of thing. Like the best commercials are the commercials that make you cry in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And some do it.
Right.
And it's pretty amazing, but that's totally intentional.
Yeah.
So if you can make music that has some sort of emotional attachment to it, you're going to have a better chance of doing that if you attach video to it.
Yeah,
also.
you can enhance that. You can enhance the effect you want to get. I think that's a big thing with like because I'm playing like psychedelic rock, you know. So the big thing is that visual element,
Yeah.
you know, where back in the 60s,
Psychedelic.
back in the 60s,
We want these people hallucinating.
They were like, we're gonna take a school projector and we're gonna throw some oil and food coloring in it and then make it swirl around and project that onto the band because that's what the music sounds like, you know.
Right.
So I just think that's why I ask, is I just think it's something that I've been toying around with going into this next like sort of album creation cycle. What was the most intensive music video you had to film? Like,
well, that's an easy one. And before I go into that one, some of the coolest, I guess I should take back that statement where there's any regret, because like some of the coolest things I've ever done have been the music videos and the way they came about. Like one time I was playing a show in Louisville, Kentucky at a really not a good venue. And there was
we don't need to mention names.
This couple just standing kind of in the background. I could tell they were, you know, digging it, nodding their heads a little bit. They came up to me after, bought a shirt and a CD, and they're like, "Hey man, we live in Columbus, Ohio. We're here for the weekend, and we saw they had live music, so we came by." The guy was like, "I happen to do videography full time. If you ever make your way to Columbus, Ohio, I'd love to just help you out and make a music video."
Wow.
That's so cool.
And so I like hit him up a month later, and I make my way out there, and his girlfriend turns out to be like a professional casting director / actor. So she starred in the music video with me, and they did this badass music video for free.
That's so cool.
And then another one, like I woke up to an email from this graduate student at the University of Oregon who had found my song "Please Tell Me," and she decided to do her graduate project, a music video for my song, and it was just beautifully shot, one sequenced, like one camera the whole time, just panning to the theme of Stephen King's Carrie, and at the end, like this girl's in her prom dress and this blood just drips down on her in slow motion. It's so sick.
That's so cool.
And then another similar story, I woke up to a random email. This guy had found my song "Please Tell Me Again," and he made his whole short film around the song. He entered it into a film festival, and it won Best Original Score. And then he was like, "Hey, man, if you can ever make your way to Bemidji, Minnesota, we'll do a music video." So I flew out to Bemidji, Minnesota 2 summers ago, and he had this crazy idea for a music video. I rode a horse. We got like all these people in the town just to be involved. I ran by them, and everyone looked at me as I was running by, like, to be involved.
That's
and these are just really cool stories. Like, I don't even know if I'll see these people again in my life, but just when we were doing those projects together in that moment, it was like the coolest
that's
feeling
so awesome.
and emotional connection. So I would never take that back, like all those experiences.
Totally.
But then the most intensive videos. So I have this guy, a friend who I met at a show in Birmingham, Alabama, and he's a professional, like second camera guy. I forget what they call him. He handles all the panning for like big Hollywood stuff. He works in Atlanta and LA, but he's based in Birmingham, and he wanted to do a music video for his portfolio. So I sent him like 3 or 4 songs of mine, and he picked one, and The Joker had just come out, the Joaquin Phoenix one. So I just threw out the idea. I was like, "What do you think about doing this song with the Joker?" So he took that idea and just like made it an insane production. Like they hired a clown to do my artwork, to do my face paint.
Yeah.
They hired a wardrobe person. They had a whole lighting crew, a sound crew.
Wow.
Himself, and then like 2 other guys that helped with directing and shooting it. So we had like a 15, 20 person crew, and I think he asked me for a couple $100.
Oh my god.
So it's probably like a legit production that a major band would have.
Yeah, that's
and it shows in the final product. It's amazing. I mean, they color edited it, and it's just beautiful the way it was filmed.
Wow.
So that's for my song "Don't You Feel It," and that was like, I felt like a Hollywood film star for a day.
That's so cool.
And a lot of that is just happenstance.
Yeah,
right. Just like
mostly just playing shows.
Wow.
And just meeting people on the road and getting their and keeping in touch.
Good music too.
And there's so many talented people. You know, that's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, all those people are amazingly talented at what they do, and just wanted to share their art with someone that they connected with, you know?
That's so cool.
I love that way of getting found.
Yeah.
Like, I love anything artsy like that. Getting found that way.
Right.
As opposed to just, like, getting your dog in your Instagram reels.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It does. It feels.
There's nothing.
It feels
wrong
like
with
that should be how it's done, kind of like the grassroots way, and it's just so hard though to get.
Yeah.
You got to be so consistent and be able to keep going. It's really tough.
Consistency.
Yeah.
For sure. That's really hard. Almost no band is perfectly consistent. It doesn't seem.
No, it's because it's like life is happening behind the scenes, and like you were saying, you know, if you don't have if you have to work like a regular 9 to 5, or you're trying to figure out like, how far do I think I can take this?
Right.
You know, is this worth taking the gamble on and like spending a few more years being broke? Like, just like so many different things you have to juggle. And if you've got 4 guys,
and it's hard to make money playing shows.
Yeah. I mean, the best bet is merch, and you know, but that doesn't mean you're going to sell a lot of merch necessarily.
Right.
Yeah. It's just,
what about your you got the song with Minnow that kind of blew up on Spotify?
Yeah.
Minnow?
He I think he's just like a bedroom producer in Dallas.
Yeah.
And he found my music, and he actually hired me to do 2 songs with him.
Okay. Sorry, remote?
Yeah, all
Did
remote.
you say that?
I did my vocals.
Cool.
Remote. And we're actually working on a song together now that's just like actually collaborative and 50-50.
Cool.
But yeah, those 2 were sick. He just sent me the tracks, and I top lined them, and I liked them so much. I was like, hey, I'd love to be attached to this.
Yeah.
Would you be down to make it a dual release? And he was down. So I think he did some like Instagram ads and stuff. So that's probably why it has some more streams than my other music.
Okay, yeah, because if you're willing to put the money in like those, and if you manage them well,
I think he was pretty good at doing it.
Yeah, it seems like featured artist thing. You know what I mean? That's happening now is super common and very helpful for growing artists.
Yeah,
and collaborate.
I can see it if you have people that are actually going to listen. Like, you should get on that.
That's true. That's true.
As an independent artist, it's like the amount of time that people are spending even on your Spotify page is so minimal compared to a gigantic artist. You know, people that are interacting with you on Spotify are interacting via listening to the songs that they have saved or just digging through your back catalog. But yeah, it's I have to rewrite my Spotify bio, and I'm like, who's even going to read this? Yeah. But I need to do it.
There will be someone.
Yeah, there
sure.
will be. Yeah.
You never know when
there are people
when
that
a song will connect with thousands of people, and
the algorithms there too, like Facebook and Instagram and Spotify, they're always going to reward you for updating your stuff.
Yeah.
Just always.
Yeah.
It's a horrible reality, but
yeah, when I was at my peak of posting, I played a cool but smaller festival in Pennsylvania, and I had this one moment where I was out in the crowd. I had my shirt off and I was dripping sweat, and I was like just going crazy, and this huge guy was standing in front of me, and he was just stoked on the music at the time. So he's like, "Yeah, man, yeah," and I just jump up because he was probably 6'5", 6'6". I jump up, slap his hand. And it was just this really cool like motion of things, and my brother caught it and ended up being like a 6-second clip, and I posted it as an Instagram reel, and it got it stopped counting at 10 million views.
Really?
Whoa.
But it was so bizarre. Like I went from 1,500 Instagram followers all the way up to 16,000 in like a month span.
Oh my
And then
God.
I went down, and I'm still going down.
Really?
wait,
3
you
years
went
later.
down?
Yeah, I got all the way up to 16,000. And then, so I don't know what it was exactly, because I got a ton of comments and stuff, but there was definitely some type of like bot algorithm going on too.
Yeah. So there's some of those.
It was weird. Like
bots.
I got thousands of comments, but for whatever reason, it started going down. And then I'm at like 7,000. So it's gone down 9,000 from the peak.
I haven't heard of it dropping like that ever.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's pretty crazy.
Huh.
Yeah, that's so weird.
I always want we got a buddy Dan who Willow Smith posted one of his drum covers, and I was asking him like, what did that even do for you?
Yeah,
because I think that it got like 200K something like that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Views on it, and he's like, yeah, I got 2 followers.
Really?
Like, really? It's just it's impossible to predict.
Was it a share on a story?
She reposted it, and it looked horrible.
Yeah,
like she screen recorded it.
She screen recorded it.
So I know this sounds ridiculous, but KJ we played a show at a hotel in Memphis, and there was this 2 girls watching, and they came in like 3 songs, and we played for 2 hours, and they watched the entire show. We're like, wow, that's really cool. And one of them came up to us after and like named a few of the songs that we played, you know, when we announced them, and Kiki's like, "Do you know who that was? It was Willow Smith."
Oh, really?
So she was on tour in Memphis and came to our show because she was just hanging out at the hotel.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we had like 10 people the whole time. It was just this not a very good show, outdoor, just like playing background music.
Yeah.
But she hung out, and then she shared on her story one of our songs, and same thing, like
cool.
Maybe got a couple new followers.
Yeah.
It's a cool story though.
Yeah.
Always.
What hotel were you at?
It's right on. I'm trying to think of the name.
Was it the Peabody?
No, it's do you know that old blues bar that used to be a brothel in Memphis? It's on that street. And you kind of go up a hill. It's a really cool hotel.
That's cool. Was that were y'all playing anywhere else in town, or did y'all?
Yeah, and then we did a farmer's market, and then we did a vinyl shop.
Oh, nice.
Dope.
Yeah.
I can't believe you know that hotel.
My grandparents live in Memphis.
So I think it was on Main Street, maybe.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Memphis.
Yeah.
And I've spent a lot of time in that area of Memphis in particular. My parents had their honeymoon not the honeymoon. They stayed at the Peabody Hotel when they got married. So that's why I asked if it was the Peabody, because that's a pretty historic hotel.
Yeah.
They have penguins that live on the top floor.
Really?
That they bring down. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because the guy that...
That's great.
And don't quote me on this, but I think the guy that founded it was like kind of eccentric, and he like wanted to keep penguins. Sure. And so there's the Peabody penguins. So when I was a kid, they bring us to the hotel every Saturday morning. Cool. They bring the penguins down from the 12th floor, and then they go and swim in the in the fountain in the middle of the atrium. Wow. Yeah, they just walk these penguins in. They get in there, kind of swim around, and then they walk them out. It's a very big thing for the kids.
Yeah, sure.
The kids love it.
Oh, I would have loved that as a kid. I would love that now.
I would still love it.
I'm a kid.
We can go over there sometime. Well, do we want to maybe transition to some tunes, possibly?
Yeah. I'm going to play, I'm not sure what number single it was off this upcoming album, but it's one of my favorites. It's called Way with Words. Mm-hmm. So we didn't really get into this, but I've been just struggling with the grind and being burned out of music. And like, I used to tour really heavily, and I just didn't get the fan base that I wanted from all the work that I put in. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of in a transition stage of not playing as many shows and just getting like the money from doing the production stuff. Mm-hmm. So this song is kind of about just burning yourself out to the max, but never giving up totally, like in your heart. Mm-hmm. And then it's written from an interesting perspective, so it's kind of for the listener to figure out who it's about.
Okay,
but
cool.
It's called Way with Words.
Right on.
This song is called Way with Words. It's on my upcoming album, Barely Here. It's about never giving up.
She's got a way with words. 16, she thinks the world is hers. Never really felt the need to self-preserve. She's got a plan, you see. Rich and famous by the time she's 23. Ain't it nice to be so young and so naive? Nothing gets in the way of childish dreams. Stand tall, fight on, you don't gotta live like this no more. I feel your pain, never give up, this life will change. Oh. And now she's 25, living in an apartment on the east side. Nothing ever goes the way she fantasized. Well on her way to feeling wrecked inside. Stand tall, fight on, you don't gotta live like this no more. I feel your pain, never give up, this life will change. So long to youth, look at all the ways you've fallen through. I feel your pain, never give up, this life will change. And now she's 29, broken down and feeling like she can't survive. No one told her this is what it means to try. Stand tall, fight on,
So this is a song called Falling Backward. It's also on my upcoming album. In addition to just being, it's tough to stay, positive being an independent artist and just all that goes into it, and trying to make your dreams come true. I've had a tough year. My dad passed away, so it's just been a tough year, and I kind of went into a little bit of a pretty negative spiral for a while, and this song kind of represents that whole phase of life. It's called Falling Backward.
I wanna scream, I wanna cry. I can't decide on this life. Where to go, what to try. Where's my mind? Where's my mind? I'm always low, I'm never high. I try to feel, I try to find. You say hello, I say goodbye. Where's my mind? Where's my mind? This time I'm falling backward. This time I'm feeling wayward, yeah. This time I'm falling backward. I wanna scream, I wanna cry. I can't decide on this life. Where to go, what to try. Where's my mind? Where's my mind?
I'd like to thank the Garden Groove podcast, Jackson and Taylor, for having me on. It's been a blast talking with you fellas. I've been Jon Worthy. Thank you guys for listening. Like I talked about on the podcast, I have an album coming out at the end of August. It's called Barely Here. It's going to be my 4th full-length album. Sweet. And I'm already working on a bunch of new music that's going to start coming out in September on my next album, which is TBD for the title. I don't know what it's going to be. And then just be on the lookout for show postings and new music and all the stuff on my Instagram, TikTok, website. Just type in Jon Worthy, Jon Worthy, Worthy. You'll find me wherever you get your stuff. So I'm everywhere there needs to be Jon Worthy stuff. So check it out. And if you really like it, give me a follow. And happy listening.
Right on.
All right. Thanks so much for coming in, man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
That was a good time. And that has been the podcast.
That's about right.
Signing off.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you guys. That was fun.
Where's my